is the Atlanta Sports Party, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome into the Atlanta Sports Party. I am your host, Jarvis Davis, and sitting in with me is our Hawks Postcast co-host, Deshaun Tate. Coming up on today's show, guys, we got so much on board. Obviously, the Dejounte Murray trade, we'll get into that, but and around the Metro, we're going to talk about where do the Hawks go from here? Who's next? Who's on the trade block? And also in the deep dive, we're going to dig into what does this Dejounte Murray trade mean for Trae Young? But first, we have to dig in and let you know that today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. The Atlanta Sports Party is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Also, I want to let you know that we are free and available wherever you download your podcast. Wherever you download your podcast, make sure that you leave us a 5-star review. Really appreciate that from you in advance. That's how everybody finds out about the show. So, yeah, and if you have not done so, make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you haven't done so, I don't know what you're waiting on. Probably the best thing smoking on this here YouTube network. All right, guys. So, Deshaun, Dejounte Murray, we find out in a Friday evening news dump, Woj drops the bomb, and Shams Charania actually, comes with the news that Dejounte Murray has been traded to the New Orleans Pelicans. The Hawks receive Larry Nance Jr., Dyson Daniels, a 2025 first-round pick, a 2027 first-round pick. Now, on the surface, for me, this feels like a salary dump and trying to recoup some of those picks that they lost out on when they traded for Dejounte Murray and tried to pair him with Trae Young and thinking that was going to be the pairing that get them back into the playoffs and be competitors in the Eastern Conference. What say you?
I'm on fire, JD.
Okay.
I'm not with it, bro.
Okay.
This is nothing more than the same thing that I've been telling you, that this team is running on a rat wheel. Doing the same thing over and over. This ain't about no rebuild. They're rebuilding off of a rebuild is what they're doing. Okay. The picks, all that is cool. The picks, all that is cute. I don't trust you to make the right pick anyway. Okay. I don't feel good about it. You mean to tell me that you didn't even get Brandon Ingram out of the deal, Jarvis? Jarvis.
Now. Okay.
Jarvis.
Hold on. Before you continue, the whole Brandon Ingram piece is very interesting, right? Because I would have been on board with that. He's in the last year of his contract. So he's looking for a new deal. New Orleans wasn't going to give him one. And there were a lot of rumors, a lot of speculation that the Hawks were in talks with him and in talks with the Pelicans. And Brandon Ingram was going to be the guy that was going to be a part of that deal. And it was kind of on board with whatever this is. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a rebuild, a tear down to the studs, a reconstruction, a reset. I don't know what it is. I don't even think the Hawks know what it is. Landry Fields don't even know what it is. But he would have been right in line with being the last year of his deal. And if you feel like he didn't do what he needed to do, you can either trade him at the trade deadline, or you could just ride him out and let him go off into free agency and not have to worry about that money. And you get something out the deal. But now you're talking about Dyson Daniels, Larry Nance Jr. I'm cool with you recouping your first round picks, or a couple of them, right? I get that. I understand that. I totally get that. But you're getting guys that those don't look like guys that you could just insert right into the starting lineup. Do you?
Larry Nance is a run and jump player. I'm not seeing a whole lot more coming off of that.
Okay.
Congratulations, you got yet another guy that is wide open after Trae Young beats a defender on a first step, gets him behind him, throws the lob, can actually catch a ball and dunk it. We've seen any and everybody can do that. John Collins has done it. We've seen Clint Capella do it. All these other guys. Anybody can do that wide open when their defender leaves them to try and go double on Trae. I'm starting to think that a lot of those passes are starting to get telegraphed anyways, and people in the opposing teams are starting to pick up on the minimum options that Atlanta has when we try to go to that. The Dyson Daniels, he could defend. Cool. I got it. He's what? Just right off of his just still in his rookie deal. What is he? Just 1 year off of being a rookie?
2 years. He got 2 years left on his contract. Yep.
Okay, so yeah, one year removed from being a rookie. Still a young dog, still a young pup in this league. He still got superhero characters on his draws. That ain't doing nothing for me. I need something that's gonna make. We waited out this whole time for this. We decided not to move Dejounte because it wasn't enough to get back whatever the Lakers was trying to offer or whoever was reported to for Larry Nance. 2 picks that I don't trust that you can. I don't trust you making picks. I just seen what you did 2 nights ago. You just picked up a guy that averages 10 points a game. You already know how I feel about that. And I got a good feeling that a lot of the people, Jarvis, you're from here. Yeah. I'm not from here. I've been getting killed on social media for the last, I don't know how many, not even hours, not even days, but weeks, ever since I said what I said about Bronny James. This feels like you just picked up Bronny James without dad. If I'm just being honest, that's the feeling that I'm getting. They're trying to tear it down. That's clearly what it's looking like. If you're not trying to do that, that's even more blasphemous to what we just have put in front of our faces. A guy who has been an all-star, a guy who has been the anchor of this team in Dejounte Murray when Trae is sitting down. Okay. The heart and soul, all these different things, the defender that he is, and everything.
The only
else.
One that I would take in a bar fight.
A steal.
If you go up and down the Hawks roster, bro, Dejounte Murray is the only one I'm saying, hey man, come on with me, man. I need your help. Everybody else
led the league in steals, I think, in 2022. All of these things, and I've been getting destroyed, JD. You've seen the comments. I'm welcoming them and embracing them. But this is nothing more than what I've been saying. You're from here. I'm not. I've been here almost 20 years. That's half of my life, JD. But the same thing that I've been telling you about this team and the direction that they're going and just not getting better doesn't look like it's where, you know where we're going, JD? We're back to swipe right Tinder night. That's where we're going. Come enjoy yourself. It's a networking event. Come get married at State Farm. All of these things that you've been putting
perform at the draft at the draft party,
JD.
And then you got 25% of that crowd when they make the pick for.
Let me tell you something, JD. I heard more people. I heard more people cheering when Cam Reddish got drafted than I did when Risa got drafted. Let me tell you something, JD. This is the crazy part.
Okay.
For those that are diehard fans and whatever else, what have you. This is why people don't trust. This is why the people say what they say about this franchise. It's so much turnover. We don't know who's leading. It feels like the blind leading the blind. Too many Chiefs. And I'm going to leave it right there because I don't want to finish the sentence. But it's just no direction. There is no identity.
Trust me, we're going to get into that, but I have to make this. I think you make a very good point, and the question that I always ask when trades like this goes down: did they get better? And if you have to pause, think about it, look at the picks, look at the players that they got in return. If you got to do all that, that's not the initiative. They're not trying to get better. This is a salary dump, and they're trying to recruit with first round picks.
Here's what I'm trying to figure out. Okay.
Just digging into the little numbers, right? I dug into the numbers a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. Larry Nance Jr., Dyson Daniels, 2 of the top 3 defenders on according to their defensive rating. They're 2 of the top 3 defenders on the New Orleans Pelicans. Could they help them in the short term? Sure. But did they get better? Is Larry Nance Jr., who's in the last year of his contract, who's probably is a trade candidate, which he's been most of his career. and Dyson Daniels, are those two guys going to help you win more games? And it's up in the air, just like the entire being of this organization. Everything is up in the air. But coming up next, we're going to talk about, is Trae Young still on the table? I want to take the time out to let you know that this episode is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time, guys, let me tell you something. This is something that you need to check out. They are the app that you need to go to in order to be able to figure out, hey, this is something I need to go to if I want to find some games. I'm talking about last minute tickets, flash deals, zone deals, easy to find and buy MLB tickets, and for every kind of event in your area. From all seats in the venue, lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, and job loss protection. I'm talking about they got everything right there, and they have good deals for you to see the games. I've been looking for some Braves tickets, oh my gosh, for so long. I went on there and I'm going to take my family to see the Braves and the Giants, and I ain't have to take out a loan to do it. You could do the same thing. Go to Game Time. I'm telling you, people, take all the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code Locked On for $20 off your first purchase. Yes, you heard that correctly. You're going to get $20 off for using the code Locked On. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code Locked On, LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. I want to thank you guys for joining us today. The live news, the news of Dejounte Murray being traded to the New Orleans Pelicans. We on the Atlanta Sports Party, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We're right here for you. If you haven't liked and subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. Really appreciate that from you in advance. Now, we talked about the trade and kind of how I gave our thoughts on how we feel about it, Sean, but I think the next thing that we need to kind of discuss and get into is, what does this mean for Trae Young? I feel like this should mean that, hey, they're going to surround Trae Young with as many 3-and-D guys as they possibly can, guys who can actually defend now, right? You know, in comparison to the guys that have been on this roster. You know, Dyson Daniels is one of the better defenders on the New Orleans Pelicans, and he was talked about in trade conversations with Brandon Ingram coming over. But obviously, Brandon Ingram wasn't part of that trade, but they were able to get one of those defenders that the Hawks really coveted. So, I feel like there's a part of me from a basketball standpoint that says this trade kind of makes sense if you're trying to surround Trae Young with those 3-and-D guys, right? Because we already know the deficiency that he have as far as on-ball defending. But for you, does this mean what I said? Does this mean that Trae Young is the guy, he's going to be the face of this organization and he's going to be around, for the foreseeable future to try to get this thing back on track?
I'm not confident.
Okay.
We talking about surrounding him with 3-and-D guys. These guys are not going to be 3-and-D guys. These guys are going to be D guys. Pause. And let me tell you why. Because if you thought that Trae Young was a gun before, if you thought we were past the days of Trae shooting a logo 3 with 17 seconds still left on the clock,
that's what his coach wants to do. Shoot him. Keep shooting.
It's a wrap. We're talking about a guy who I feel like it's apparent and that it's clear. I don't want to speak for Trae. We're not best friends. But I feel like everyone optically has the same vibe, the same feel, the same energy that he already has one foot out of the door. Mm-hmm. You think he's about to sit around and wait for Dyson Daniels and and Zachary Risachet to grow up and see what they're going to happen to be some way, somehow. Nah, I'm not buying it.
Okay.
This is a team that I never thought was willing to take the risk for the second best player. I said it. Second best player in franchise history to ever walk through those doors and get rid of him. I think they're afraid to do that because they know how they treated the guy that got the statue right outside.
Talking about Dominique Wilkins, right? Yeah, we go and say his name. He ain't no.
Oh yeah,
Nick ain't no killer. I mean, I know he about that. I know he about that life, but he ain't no killer. We can say his name. It's okay to say his name, Dominique Wilkins. Yeah.
Hey, JD.
I've had some interaction with Nick. Nick is about that life. He's a good dude, solid dude. But
super solid dude.
So such a solid dude, but I don't want to see that though.
But the interesting part about that. Go ahead.
No. I'm just saying I don't want to see them trade away Trae Young again. And then, because here's the thing, man. Like Trae Young is such a lightning rod, right? Like people talk about, I always bring up his defense. I was seeing somebody was saying, "Oh, they traded the wrong guy. They should have traded Trae Young." I was like, okay. And then first thing come out of the mouth, "Oh, the defense." I was like, all right, man. Okay, so we just gonna forget that this dude was probably one of the better and young and up and coming point guards in the NBA, in the entirety of the NBA, right? And like people will say all these negative things about him, but when it comes to their team, oh yeah, we should trade for Trae Young and we'll be contenders. Like what? Wait a minute. No, he can't play defense.
Let me tell you something, JD. Let me tell you something,
he can't
bro.
play defense though. Like,
let me tell you something, JD.
Like, why do people ignore what he's really, really, really good at? I don't understand that, man. Help me understand that, Tate.
You knew what you were getting when you drafted him. That's A.
Right. I can look at him and say he can't play defense in the league.
You knew what you were getting, and you knew he was box office and that you were going to sell tickets, and he had a very attractive style of play that was similar to Steph Curry, blah, 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 blah. All these other things. Yeah. And make no mistake, JD, I'm a believer that when things went down the way that they went down with Nate McMillan, and people all pointed the finger at him, and the way that some of the fan base turned on him, I think he heard some of that. I think that Trae, correct. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm a believer that he has the franchise by the huevos, by the coconuts, by the kahunas, and he should. Yeah. And he knows that they need him, and they do.
They do.
However,
State Farm be sold out.
For sure. Jersey sells, you name it. But the interesting part about all this, JD, on top of all of that, is the fact that at some point, they're going to have a very difficult decision to make because they already probably got the same vibe and feelings and energy that we do, that he's got 1 foot out. And before you end up not getting a single dime in return for him, you're going to have to make a decision. You want to keep him happy. This is not making him happy. And I know that for everything but a fact. You know how? Because we all feel the same way. Look what he's dealing with. He done gave 6 years to this franchise, in which he has taken this franchise to a place that it has never been before, that being the Eastern Conference Finals. And people are going to say, oh, well, they've been there before with the 60-win team, but they didn't win games in that one. They won 2 with Trae Young, taking them to a place that they have never been before. He has been more than loyal, doing any and everything he can. He didn't miss games. This year was the first year at the tail end of the season when he missed all those games because of a real injury. He hadn't been missing games. Like, this is crazy. People say, oh, his style of play is in a winning style and all these different things. What do you want him to do? We understand that. We overstand that maybe from a vocal leadership standpoint and all these other things that he probably isn't that kind of leader. But he's led the league in assists multiple times or been very close at the top between first and third in the last couple of years, if not anything else. Like, I don't know what else you want the dude to do. Like, I that part I just don't really understand. When it comes to the Trae Young hate and this, that, and the third, and whatever else, what have you, I'm on fire, JD. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro.
Yeah. So here's the thing, man. Like, I feel like we're saying the same thing as far as wanting Trae Young to be around and feel like they should go with the plan. Like now that Dejounte Murray is out of the picture, they got some guys that can play some defense. Now, I mentioned 3-and-D earlier. You said that, hey, I don't know about that 3 part.
They gonna be
Dyson Daniels is not a good 3-point shooter. He shot 31% last year. Yeah.
JD, they're gonna be, I'm sorry, they're gonna be standing in the corner doing jumping jacks saying I'm wide open.
Because people gonna leave him open.
All the attention is gonna be on number 11. I don't know what the front office is doing, JD. It's bothersome to me.
Yeah.
This is our job, JD. This is our jobs.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we get paid to do. We have families too. This is how we pay our bills too. We're deeply invested just as much as anybody else is. But the things that are transpiring are not making sense. We've had 3 head coaches in the last handful of years. We've had probably 3 GMs, or certainly 2, but definitely 3 in the last 7 years, I would think, or somewhere around that range. There's been so much movement. It's the blind leading the doggone blind, JD.
Oh, wow. Let's talk about that. Coming up next, we're gonna get into Landry Fields, and is the picture a little bit clearer now? We'll talk about that next. Wrapping things up right here on Atlanta Sports Party. I'm your host, Jarvis Davis, and we got my main man here with me, our resident Hawks postcast host, Deshaun Tate. You see my man is over there on fire. If you're watching us on YouTube, if you're listening, I'm letting you know right now, the man is fire hot. You know, that's an Atlanta pronunciation right there. Fire. Like fire. Yeah, fire. No, fire. If you're from Atlanta, you know what I'm talking about. But I think Deshaun, I think it will behoove us to wrap this pod up talking about Landry Fields, because I know we potentially talked about, you know, where the Hawks are going, but I feel like Landry Fields has to be a part of this conversation before we get out of here. When I think about all the moves that have been made since he's taken over as general manager of this team, when you think about Kevin Huerter, well, no, that was still on the Travis Schlenk. I'm sorry. My apologies. We think about the John Collins trade. Too little, too late. Dejounte Murray. There's an argument to be made that was too little, too late. And you didn't necessarily get a viable starter. We established the fact that we don't think that they're a better team because they made this trade. I feel that this was a salary dump, another salary dump, and another way to recoup your a couple of those first round picks that you traded away for Dejounte Murray. So, as the general manager of this team, my question to you is, has Landry Fields given you any type of inkling of a reason to give him the benefit of the doubt?
That's the question?
Yep.
Nope. Not at all. I don't. First of all, talking about the picks, I don't trust you picking. If the right guy was right in front of your face 48 hours ago, I
Let me ask you
don't
this:
think you would
if
have picked
Travis
the
Schlenk
right
was still
guy.
here, did you trust Travis Schlenk when he was making picks?
More,
Okay, not wholly,
more,
not fully, but you trust him. Definitely trust him more than Landry.
a lot more.
Okay,
You
I'm with
lucky
you.
to get what you got out of Jalen Johnson. I wholly respect that. Everybody's throwing these other names around like Kobe and all that. I think part of the reason why, and I'm not saying that Kobe
The
Buffkin,
bar is low though. The bar is
that's,
low though, Tate. It's
that's
so
my point.
low.
That's my
Like
point.
people throwing Kobe Buffkin. Yeah, man, he might be an all right player, but like let's when it comes to playing defense, man, realize what we've been experiencing for these past few years, handful of years. We've been watching all-star level type defense, all-star game type defense. Like, do you understand how much I want to throw up watching the Hawks play the Pacers?
Yep.
And everybody's like, oh, that was an amazing game. No, it
No,
was awful.
no.
It was awful.
The Indiana Pacers this
Awful.
year, against the Atlanta Hawks, I believe in the 3 meetings that they had, 3 or 4, they totaled for somewhere around Jesus Christ. And this is very much on the low side.
Mhm.
I know it's 500 plus. Feel like it's 500 something. It could be more. Very likely is more. They put up like 500 something points against them. The first 2 games, the Indiana Pacers totaled they averaged 150 points against the Atlanta Hawks this year. You're talking about defense and this and that, and I get it. And I want to give benefits of the doubt. I'm always about giving benefits of the doubt. But it doesn't feel like it's trending in the right direction. It doesn't feel like we're going upward. We're going backwards. And it's not a good feeling. I wasn't even over. Let me be honest, JD. I wasn't even over 2 nights ago. I wasn't even over that yet. And then this came today. What's next? You said we're going to talk about what's next in this segment. What's next? How much worse can it get? I mean, let's just, what do they call it? I don't know what they call it nowadays. The young kids, whatever, keep it a buck, keep it a bean, keep it 100, keep it 1,000.
All of the above. Use one.
Bruh, just keep it straight with me. What are we doing? It's a laughing stock at the league right now. That's exactly what this is, JD. And I'm in awe because you get nothing for you saved Dejounte Murray for this. And I don't trust you with picks. Nobody's coming in free agency. You can forget about that. I know everybody's going to be looking at their phone. Everybody's going to be checking to see what the Hawks did. They're going to do nothing. You know what they're going to do? They're going to do this right here, JD. This is what they're going to do. They're going to do what they always do. I would be very shocked and surprised and would be more than happy to come back on this particular program where we don't play radio and eat my words if they go and take a risk that only gets you rewards. The smartest people, the people that make the most money, the most successful people are those who are innovators and take risk in life. And those are the 2 things that the Atlanta Hawks have never shown me in the 19 years that I have lived here since June 6th of 2005 has never done. They were never risk takers. They were never innovators, and they always seem to be in flux. And this is why people wonder. This is why the people on the outside markets talk about the Atlanta Hawks the way that they talk about. I've tried defending them myself. No, people laughed at me, JD. I came from the Peach Jam in 2017, 18. I've been watching Trae Young since he was 16 years old. Ask Rayford. And I came back to Atlanta after all of those players, Colin Sexton, Marvin Bagley, Wendell Carter Jr., his teammate with that particular AAU on that AAU circuit Mocan Elite, right? Michael Porter Jr., all of them were talking about somebody else. I came right back here to this city and said the most impressive guy. Stop me when I'm wrong, JD. I said the most impressive guy that I saw out there was Trae Young. People said, tell me a little bit about him. I explained to him the size, the measurements, this, that, and the other. People laughed at me, rolling on the floor, laughing, pointing the finger, veins popping out the back of their neck, and said he won't be it. And he came here and did what he did.
Lit it
If
up.
that man decides to walk, you cannot blame him one single bit, because he told you, I want to be here, but if you're not willing to willing to win the same way I am on that same wavelength, I gotta walk. And I wouldn't be mad, just one bit.
Landry Fields, first time I heard him say that he wants to win was in response to Trae's comment. He was asked a question. They were talking about Trae Young and his comments on the podcast saying that he wants to win. And his response was, I want to win too. And it was the first time I ever heard him say that. Because he coming up with terms saying, oh, we're not into resulting. We're about the process. We want the Hawks DNA. They got to have the Hawks DNA. Start going with all these slogans and everything like that, man. Like the moves that you make lets me know what you're trying to do. You're trying to dump salary and gain picks.
Hit us up. Is it at social? Is it at
Locked on ATL on Twitter? I don't use it.
JD.
I don't say X.
Okay,
Twitter.
Cool.
Twitter.
What is yours, JD? Throw yours out there, JD.
At Jarvis D90. We here. We ain't going nowhere.
At Tate's Take Hoops. TATES TAKEHOOPS. Listen, I want to know from the are y'all not tired enough already? Or y'all not tired of it yet? Are you not sick enough of it already? Or do you still need to go through it some more?
Our man Robert Blackman. Look, our man Robert Blackman says Hawks fans since 1984. It has always been this way. So that's why I can't get mad, man. I get emotional, but I can't get upset. I can't get upset, man.
The last thing I'm gonna say,
we've seen this movie before.
I've seen it before.
We've seen this movie before, man.
Over.
You know, Chris Paul could have been here, right?
Oh, do you want to do that?
Could have been here, right?
You want to do that tonight?
No. We don't have time.
Okay.
We don't have time.
Okay. Because I thought we was about to go into the Williams brothers, Sheldon and Marvin.
He wanted to play here too.
You might as well have picked up Cody Williams out of Colorado, because his last name is Williams too. Don't get me started, JD.
Bro.
Don't get me started. Tonight is not the night. I know we got to wrap up. Yeah. I know we're up against it. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. For those who will tune in later, thank you for supporting. Go and follow us. We're going to bring the heat each and every single time that clearly there's probably going to be more news. Let's make no mistake about it. Let me just say this, JD.
And we're going to be here for you. We're going to talk about it.
Oh, absolutely. We are grateful for every single person that have come on, chimed in, text message, comment, subscribe. Please subscribe.
Yeah.
Please subscribe.
Hit that bell too. So when we go live,
you would know it's coming each and every single time.
Yeah,
please
subscribe. We got you. We're here for you. And like I said, like Deshaun said, if you haven't liked or subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you do so. Also, we're free and available wherever you download your podcast. Make sure you leave us a 5-star review. We appreciate that from you in advance. That's how you found out about the show. That's how you find out about us, right? So now that you're here, go ahead and become a part of the family. We appreciate you guys. And if the Hawks make another trade, we're going to be here for you. Like I said, turn that notification bell on. Hit that bell. I promise you, we'll be right here for you. We'll see y'all. If not for breaking news, we'll see y'all on Monday.